Hello, all you recruiters out there. I have a very, very, very special guest with me. And the reason being is because you know that you come to the channel, you want to make more money in recruiting. We want to do a better job. How do we do it? Biz dev is hard. So I am introducing Ashish Vachhani, who is the CEO and founder of Reflik. Hello, Ash. How you doing?
Hello, Brianna. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I want to know, first and foremost, how was it born? How did you think about this? When did you bring it to life?
Well, back in 2015 timeframe, we saw some real pain points when it came to recruiting space, especially recruiting and staffing and third-party staffing space. On one side, we had employers looking for talent, and they wanted to utilize recruiting support from professionals, recruiters, agencies. And what they realize, and what generally even today, what happens is that model is extremely fragmented. Depending on the company size, depending the kind of the roles they have, they need to work with multiple agencies and recruiters. Here, the recruiters, they need to engage for sales and marketing roles. Here, they have jobs in IT and engineering. There's another set of recruiters. They need to figure out who will be the right fit and engage with them. So it's multiple channels of communication, multiple processes, invoicing, contracting. So the process was extremely cumbersome for a typical employer. And at the same time, they want it to be more streamlined, more digital. They want to be able to integrate the jobs that they have. They should be able to send out utilizing the applicant tracking systems that they use. When candidates are submitted, it should flow right into their HRI systems. So there are multiple pain points when it comes for employers to utilize an agency or a recruiter, and so we saw that opportunity, if you will. On the other hand, agencies and recruiters, were spending way too much time in finding clients, in finding job orders, which was in many cases almost 50% of the time they were spending, as opposed to what they love, which is investing their time in finding the right talent, placing candidates at the right companies for the right roles. So we certainly saw a clear opportunity with a two-sided marketplace model, which will streamline the opportunities for both parties. And that's how the idea of Reflik was born.
I definitely see it as a win-win because from an agency perspective, I know that I had to train my recruiters on how to do business development. It felt very heavy, and naturally a recruiter is going to lean one way and it's going to be better. Like, hey, I'm either really great at sourcing, I want to put my head down, I'm really good at doing biz dev, but then there's that additional component, which is why I like your platform so much, which is that you handle the hiring managers. You get to listen to the hiring manager phone calls. All of that account management is actually a really heavy lift. So from a recruiter standpoint, that's kind of like a dream. Just be like, I'm going to put my head down, I'm going to come source, make this happen. And from the client perspective, again, I know from an agency side, is they would have to give me logins to whatever ATS they were using, if they were even using one, and then if they had permissions, and it was all very time consuming. And then from our side, we had all different passwords, all different moving parts. So I love that it's all in one spot. It's great. So I'm sure people are wanting to see it, right? Like, let's show it. Let's see some of the features on both sides. I think it would be really great to highlight. Definitely recruiters want to see, hey, how fast can I fill roles? How much money can I really make? And on the other side, how easy is it from a client?
Sure. Let's dive right into it. What I do is I will share my screen so that we can go over it together. And give me 1 second as I bring up my screen. Right, so let's dive right into it and give a flavor of the platform. So the first thing, when agency recruiters and recruiters join the platform, we ask them to provide as much information, detailed information about their profile as possible, about their experience, right? So we know their functional area of expertise, their industry area of expertise, as well as their geography area of expertise. And at least as they're starting out, it helps us in terms of matching the right jobs with them based on their area of experience and expertise. Once they're active and engaged on the platform, we have a lot of information on what kind of jobs they like to work on. So from that standpoint, we have a lot of data to work with once they start submitting candidates and making placements, and we can match the right jobs with the right recruiters based on that information. So we certainly ask all the recruiters and agencies to provide as much detailed information on their profile as possible. It's extremely easy to join the platform. We have made it very intuitive. Once they join the platform, typically what they want to go do is click on the jobs tab, so they see all the jobs that are available for them to work on. They can filter the jobs based on several criteria in addition to their expertise. But if they want to further zero in on the jobs that they want to work on, they can say what kind of job types they want to work on, whether it's a direct hire or contract role, what kind of work location for the candidate, any functional area for the role, any industry that they want to focus on, as well as location preference. And you can also say, I want to work on jobs that at least pay me a certain placement fee or a referral reward, as we call it on the platform. Okay, so there's various filters that they can utilize to zero in on the jobs that they really want to work with. So once they have on the jobs page, they can see all the different roles that are available to them, and all the key information that they need to work on the platform is easily easily available to them. For example, right, they can see who's the employer, what's the job title, when was it posted, what's the location, whether it's an on-site, remote, or hybrid role, and they'll be able to see the payout details for each role. Being a demo account, you don't see it here, but they'll see what's the payout that they'll receive for every role along with the guarantee period. So they have all the information that they need in order to add the job to the work list and start working on it. For example, this is a purchasing manager role posted 7 days ago. It's an on-site role. They see the name of the client, right? They see what are the key skills that this job requires. At that point, they can click on the job description and see, what level of a role it is, the experience required. They can click on the compensation information, relocation assistant, so on and so forth, in the detailed job description provided by the client. Okay. More importantly, in addition to the job description, we also have a section called Job Insights, where they can find the account manager's information, who is from Reflik team, who is responsible for this particular job order, as well as working with this client directly. So if they have any questions, they can reach out to our account manager directly. This is what we call high tech meets high touch kind of a model.
I was just thinking that. I was like, that's I want to talk to Kurt and ask him how many people call him. That's impressive. That's customer service really, really, really to extreme. That's like very much given access. Like I just, again, think to myself, I've done splits in the past. Actually, I wish I would have had this crowdsourcing, platform to work on. But I'm just thinking like how many times I would have recruiters from other agencies call. And so I got very, very, very limited access moving forward. So that's impressive how high touch that is. I love that.
Exactly. Right. In order for a digital platform like Reflik, to be successful, it's all about customer service, right? And, we have two customers on the platform. We have the employer and we have the agency recruiter. Both are our customers. And we want to replicate that model where essentially they feel they're working directly with the customer. That's the level of information we want to provide. For example, we invite agencies and recruiters to join the intake call with the hiring team at the client, right? If they're not able to, based on their area of expertise, right? And for some reason, if they cannot join the live call at that point, we provide that recording to them. So they can always, before they start working on the role, we provide that in the job insights section so that they can hear directly from the hiring manager what they're looking for in an ideal candidate.
Full access.
Exactly. And, we also break it into the must-haves for the role, the nice-to-have, and any additional information. So this really points to what exactly the client is looking for in this candidate. We also add screening questions. The client can have custom screening questions, and it's really helpful for the recruiters as well as the candidates to really know what this role really entails. This is the purchasing manager role, for example. Just describe your experience managing purchasing procedures and ensuring compliance with internal controls, right? So it really goes to the heart of what this position is all about. And this is customized for every role.
That was my next question. That's great.
Yeah. And what's also helpful to most agencies and recruiters we speak to is full transparency, right? So we provide the candidate pipeline. So we know exactly, they know when was the role posted 7 days ago and what's happening with the role, right? We have 5 candidates under client review right now, and 2 candidates have been rejected so far that did not meet the criteria, right? So if a recruiter sees, say, there are already 3-4 candidates in interview stage, or maybe somebody in the offer stage, they may decide that, they are better off investing their time in another role because this role already has coverage, right? So those were when we started the company, that was one of the questions that, what's the pipeline looking like? So we made the appropriate changes to the platform to make sure we can reflect that for every role on the platform. At that point, they have all the information that they need to make a decision on working on the role, and they can simply add it to the work list and start working on the role. The average, if you look at the last year's direct hire typical placement fee, average placement fee has been more than $15,000 on an average. Is what on the direct hire side. The other thing is, through this platform they can communicate and track all the steps with the candidate in terms of where they are at the different stages. The platform notifies them every step of the way, as the candidate makes the journey from being shortlisted to interview to offer stage, and they can track the entire candidate journey directly from the platform.
I love that. So on a platform, in a perfect world, there's full transparency like you talked about, which you have, and there's full trust from both sides. So I think that's what's really important too. I know I've had people say, well, why wouldn't I just contact their clients? I'm like, why would you do that? They're literally open their whole business just for you, and you guys are trusting each other. It's like this one unit where our main goal is to build companies, because that's what recruiters do, and make a good amount of money doing it.
Absolutely.
I love that. Okay, great. So let's end with this, because I think this is the itching question. I know you said the average direct placement right now is 15,000, but have you have journeys of recruiters that use your platform. Is there like an average that they'll make on a yearly basis? Is there a most that you want to share? Get everyone excited about?
Yeah, sure. I think so. What I would say is engagement is key, right? So for recruiters and agencies out there who are, if you're looking to scale your business, Reflik is just the right platform for you, right? The idea is, we bring you jobs from across industries, across the US, ranging in size from SMB type company all the way to large enterprise clients, right? So you can focus on your area of expertise and focus on really finding candidates rather than being worried about being an approved vendor and sales and marketing and account management and all of that, right? And like I said, the average placement fee or direct hire for 2023 was over $15,000. And the more you're active, the more you're engaged, participating in the weekly webinar with the account managers, understanding the jobs, the priorities, the more placements you will make, right? So it boils down to the engagement, but the key thing is it's an extremely user-friendly platform. And, we encourage people to reach out to our account management team and work closely with them, and they'll help you every step of the way.
Nice. I love that. Well, if you guys want to use Reflik, definitely click the links. Check that out, sign up today, and get started. Sounds super simple. So thank you, Ash, so much.
Thank you, Brianna.